I want to talk about the differences between Medicare and Medicaid, but specifically how they address and help pay for home health care in Florida. Okay, so we're going to really drill down on this one program. Home health care, of course, for people who need help with their activities of daily living and they don't want to go to an assisted living facility, they don't want to go to a nursing home, they want to receive all the care they can get at home. And the first thing that they'll notice is either if they've started privately paying for it or they're looking into privately paying for it, is it's very, very expensive. So quite intelligently, they might say to themselves, well, let's see if I can take advantage of any benefits that I might be receiving. So Medicare, being far more common, is of course what you get when you turn 65. Everyone who has paid into the system is entitled to it. And Medicare, unfortunately, has a very limited home health care benefit. It's pretty difficult to get. In order to qualify for what they call the activities of daily living, which are unskilled services, these are just things like going to the bathroom, cooking, dressing, bathing, right? These sorts of activities of daily living, Medicare does not offer a direct path to receiving those services. They offer an indirect path, which is you have to require skilled care, meaning physical therapy, occupational therapy, a skilled nursing level of care. If you are prescribed the skilled care, only then will Medicare then trigger an accompanying non-skilled activities of daily living care for those things that we just talked about. The problem is typically what my clients find in Florida is that Medicare is not particularly generous with their home health care benefit. So, for example, first of all, the doctor has to continuously and periodically recertify that the skilled care is needed. And the moment that the skilled care is not needed, the activities of daily living, non-skilled care, goes away because you can't have one without the other. So the doctor has to continuously prescribe the skilled care, and when they don't, benefit leaves. Typically, my clients also find that even when they do get prescribed the skilled care on Medicare, that Medicare will only pay for maybe 1 or 2 hours of the non-skilled care. So Medicare offers a very limited home health care benefit. Now, I want to contrast that with Medicaid. Medicaid's home health care benefit is typically significantly more generous, although by no means perfect. So if my clients qualify for Medicaid, and by the way, if they don't qualify for Medicaid, we can get them qualified for Medicaid without having to wait 5 years, without having to sell their house, without having to go broke, right? That's what I spend a lot of my time doing, is helping people legally and ethically qualify for Medicaid. Because once they are on the Medicaid waiver program, that's the one that will help pay for home health care, they'll typically see somewhere between 15 and 40 hours a week of home health care approved when we get them eligible for Medicaid. Now, if they need more than the 15 to 40 hours a week, there is a way to appeal that. And by the way, sometimes they approve less, sometimes they approve more right off the bat, but I find very typically 15 to 40 hours is very, very typical if we were to take an average. Sometimes we're called upon to appeal with Medicaid and say my client needs significantly more than 40 hours, but even then we're talking 60, 70 hours per week, something like that. Medicaid is not typically going to approve 24/7 care, which is why Medicaid planning, right, protecting my clients' assets before they go broke is especially important, because if we can have some money set aside to cover the difference, right? If they need more than what Medicaid approves, it's nice to have something set aside to pay for those additional home care hours. Medicaid also offers an interesting benefit where if you have a relative, a loved one, or a friend who you want providing the care, Medicaid will pay, once you're eligible for Medicaid, instead of paying a home care agency that contracts with Medicaid, they can pay sort of anyone you designate through something called the PDO program, which I talk about more in another video. So that's a difference, right? You can get home health care with Medicare. It's just much more difficult in terms of you're constantly fighting for the benefits, that it can go away very suddenly. You're not getting that much even when it is approved, versus Medicaid, which you have to, it's more difficult to qualify for, but once you are eligible for Medicaid, it provides a much more, in my experience, generous home health care benefit. So if you want to talk about it further, if you're anywhere in the state of Florida, feel free to schedule a consultation. If you found this video informative, please like it, please share it, please subscribe to the channel. I'm always trying to get good information out to the good people of Florida so they can become better legal consumers and advocates for themselves and their loved ones. Thank you for watching.